reliable, durable, customizable, and accurate, the AR-15. Why do you need one, you ask? Well, I think that answer might be a lot more loaded than one might think, but that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. So, without wasting any time, let's get into it. So as a kid, I had an obsession with guns, and particularly the AR-15. I remember running around my house and yard with my Connect Sim 4 pretty much like any other young boy in his own fantasyland, pretending like I'm in a war scene from Black Hawk Down fighting the enemy. But it wasn't until I was 19 when I finally turned my childhood dreams into reality and purchased my first AR. I took it to the range, popped off a couple rounds, and then like most casual gun owners, I took it home, stuffed it in a corner, and didn't really go out and be more proficient with it. I later sold it, then eventually bought the one that I have now. Through so many years of studying the AR-15 as a kid to now owning one as an adult, there's so much that I've learned about them that has led me to believe that any adult that is able should absolutely get an AR. Now, the primary reason why I believe every person should get an AR is for personal and home defense. I have a handgun for home defense. I don't need an AR-15. Well, I'm glad that you have something. But if you zone in with me here on something, I want to show you a few things. So for anyone that's ever shot an AR-15 in a handgun, you know that AR-15s are far much more accurate and easier to control recoil. Now that's a lot of value, especially when you add on a 30-round magazine compared to handguns where they're a lot harder to manage recoil, then in turn less accurate, and then adding on top of that, you only have around 10 rounds or so. Now that's for some handguns, others you can carry more, but you get the point. Now that's provided that you live in a state that supports the Constitution in allowing you to have a 30-round magazine in an AR. If you don't live in a state that supports this, maybe it would be beneficial for you to consider relocating if that's possible. Now, speaking of recoil and accuracy, that alone is a reason to own an AR-15. Now, when you pair that with longer range capability, the AR-15 makes a great beginner rifle for anybody just getting into shooting, whether that's for personal home defense or even just as a hobby. And we support shooting just as a hobby here at Range Rulerz because, well, America. So once you learn the ropes, the AR-15 will become a very forgiving platform to learn on. Another thing you could look at is the affordability and customizability of an AR. Most things on an AR you can swap out and upgrade yourself. That's a great value point considering you can get a decent AR for about $800. Thanks inflation, they used to be a little bit cheaper. However, if you bought one now for about $800, you could swap out a few pieces of furniture, add a light and an optic, and you could have one built for around $1,500. And that is pretty decent when you add on parts that are of good quality. Now, a big reason why I like the AR-15 is ergonomics. Now, I've shot a couple different 8Ks, and just for me personally, the ergonomics and overall accuracy just really isn't for me. Or maybe it's just because I suck at shooting, who knows. I'm just kidding, I like to think that I'm halfway decent. I saved this last point for the end because it's something that needs to be said and I wanted to stick with you. With what we're seeing in DC with the major gun grab coming out of the executive office, there's a possibility that AR-15s could potentially shoot up in value if the powers that be continue their power-hungry quest to hinder Americans like you and I that want to protect ourselves and the families and the people that we love. Now, I'm not saying to run to your nearest firearms dealer and purchase 10 ARs. No, I'm just simply saying this as something that we need to be mindful of in today's America and as we move forward. Now, the bottom line is that you need a way to protect yourself and the people that you love. Taking all things into account that we talked about today, the AR-15 is an option worth considering as you're expanding your resources. I hope this video was valuable to you. If it was, consider leaving a like so that I know to keep making videos like this. And if you're not already, please consider subscribing, that way the message of our channel can reach more people. I'm Parker with Range Rulerz. Thank you for tuning in with me on another video. I'll see you guys in the next one.